Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we're going to take a look at some half dollars over the last 100+ years. We're going to start with the Kennedy half right here. The Kennedy half at this point is the longest serving half dollar that the United States has ever had. They have made over $20 billion worth of Kennedy halves. Then we're going to talk about the Franklin halves, which went from 1948 to 1963. They made about $233 million worth of those. We'll get to the Walking Liberty halves, and they made about $240 million of those. And then finally we'll talk about the Barber halves. They made about $65 million worth of the Barber halves, and they made those from 1887 until 1915. So let's start with this Kennedy half. This one right here is a 2021. This is the Kennedy half. We see it says Liberty at the top, Kennedy facing to the left, and God here, We Trust here. There's a D there for the Denver Mint, and there's a 2021. They are still releasing these halves, and actually the reason I thought about making the video was because they're supposed to release one. They haven't yet. We're waiting for now. If you get the half, you're going to have to get it through the U.S. Mint or a coin dealer because they do not send them to the banks for circulation. It's the initials of the engraver of the half, and that's Gilroy Roberts. This is a copper nickel clad copper half, and you can see the copper in there. And then on the back there is United States of America. The eagle with the shield says E pluribus unum above the eagle's head. It's holding the banner in its mouth. We see the stars and these really interesting kind of dots up here. We see the wings and the feathers. And down here we see on each leg it's holding something. On this side it's holding an olive branch with all these olives on it. On this side is holding arrows. Olives for the sign of peace, arrows for war. United States of America, $50 on the bottom. Doesn't say 50 cents anywhere on here. And then down here it says FG, and that's for Frank Gasparo, who engraved the back of this coin. So Gilroy Roberts did the front, Frank Gasparo did the back. At this point in time, this is the longest half dollar that the United States has ever produced. We're in the 59th year. It first came out in 1964, the year after Kennedy died, the last year that we had 90% silver. So when the Kennedy half came out in 1964, it was the only year, 1964, 90% silver. In 65, they went to 40% silver for 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, and 70. If you get a chance to get a 1970 Kennedy half dollar, it's 40% silver. So look for those. Before they had the Kennedy halves, they had the Franklin halves. From 1948 till 1963, they made the Franklin half. It says Liberty at the top, Ben Franklin with the year under his chin, In God We Trust here. Of course, this is a 90% half also. And on the back of the Franklin half is the Liberty Bell. It says United States of America, $50. Now, something that we didn't talk about on this coin is that the mint marks on the Kennedy half are right down here underneath Kennedy's neck. The mint marks on the Franklin half, however, are right up above the Liberty Bell. And you can see the mint mark right there. That's a D for the Denver Mint right there. John R. Cynic on this one. He also did the U.S. dime, but he just put a J. So there's John R. Cynic right there. And then the back of this coin, interestingly enough, was John R. Cynic and Gilroy Roberts, who ended up doing the front of the Kennedy half. Prior to that, of course, we had the Walking Liberty half dollars. Walking Liberty went from 1916 to 1947. This is Liberty walking to the left. It says Liberty around the top. The sun coming up. Just a beautiful coin if you ever get it in really good condition. The gown kind of hangs down over here. 1934 here. In God We Trust here. Again, 90% silver. On the back it says United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $50. This coin was engraved by Adolf Alexander Wyman. The AW you may have seen on some other coins. And let's look for it right here. There's the engraver's initials here, the A and the W. Adolf Wyman, who was a great engraver of the United States coins. The Walking Liberty was good for 32 years. And then prior to that, from 1892 until 1915, for 24 years, it was the so-called Barber half. It says In God We Trust at the top, 1914 This is kind of a Roman figure facing to the right. We see the stars here. The Barber half was called the Barber half because it was engraved by Charles Edward Barber. We tip it up again, silver. And on the back we see 13 stars above the eagle, E pluribus unum on the banner. And again, this is a throwback to this image of the eagle holding it. And you see this very clearly taken by Frank Gasparo to bring back the Barber half and how it looked. It says United States of America at the top, $50 here. You see something really interesting right here. Of course, there's the shield, the olives and the arrows. But right down here, you see that there is an S there. And the San Francisco Mint made these halves. New Orleans Mint made these halves. Denver Mint made these halves. And the Philadelphia Mint made these halves. If you can find one from the 1890s from the New Orleans Mint, you are a lucky camper. The New Orleans Mint actually made them up through the 1900s. All right, well, that's all we have. So let's go backwards. The Barber half, the Walking Liberty, the Franklin, Silver Kennedy, 90%, the 40% Silver Kennedy, and the present day Kennedy $50. Collect them all. They're all worth much more than 50 cents because they're just not in general circulation anymore. And of course, all the silver ones that are 90% are worth, $10 or $12 minimum each. All right, have a great day from DC Coin World. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel. Leave any comments you have in the comments section.